I recently completed Phantom Liberty like many of you probably have, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head. It was high octane, beautiful, powerful, emotional, and the characters were interesting and layered. One character in particular that I'd like to talk about today is NUS sleeper agent Solomon Reed. We knew he'd play a big part in this DLC, and we knew Idris Elba was going to knock it out of the park. However, I did have some reservations. There was a lot of focus on him during the marketing, and I felt that Cyberpunk could be concentrating on the wrong thing, giving us another big actor that'll make us go ooh, and then give us a subpar story or something of the sorts. But I couldn't have been more wrong. Solomon Reed fits into the world of Cyberpunk and Dogtown in particular perfectly. And I knew that Idris Elba obviously played the character, it's his face, but I didn't associate Elba with Reed. All I saw was the NUS agent Reed, and that's a compliment to how serious Idris took the role and how damn good he played it. For background purposes, Reed is a sleeper agent that works for the new United States government and has worked directly under President Rosalind Myers. Reed has a checkered past with the NUS and Myers. This is due to the fact that Reed and his team were disbanded after the Unification War, and Songbird, an associate of his, tried to take out Reed 7 years ago, which would equal 2070, and these were on orders of the NUSA. The hit failed and Reed became a sleeper agent in Night City, still ready to serve his country if it ever needed him again.
You are one dumb son of a bitch!
This is probably the most important trait about Solomon Reed, his loyalty to his country, and no matter what or who, he will not change, even if it hurts him. This rang true throughout the story of Phantom Liberty, and you really got to see it in the final act. But before getting to that, why do I think Reed's presence in Phantom Liberty is possibly the best part about this DLC? Because every time that he appeared on the screen, he stole the show. He was calculated, cold, and determined, with a hint of understanding and humanity. It seemed like he was always covering his true feelings of pain and guilt. It was almost like he couldn't take care of himself because it wasn't good or it didn't benefit the cause of the new United States. And although Silverhand warns V about trusting Reed, he made it hard because he persuaded you into thinking his way was the right way and what he was doing was for the greater good. One could argue whether he was right or not, but the truth is that Reed was the perfect sleeper agent to use in Phantom Liberty, and Idris Elba was the perfect actor to bring him to life. I enjoyed getting to know the character and wondering about his background and his past missions. I wanted to know how truly badass he could be. There were hints throughout the story by the president's comments, from Silverhand and Alex, a colleague of his, that knew firsthand what kind of man Reed truly was. All of that intrigued me more and more. At the same time, I wanted to be his friend, but I had a feeling throughout the whole story that a man like him could never be a true ally if your goals don't fully align, and I wasn't sure V's and his aligned all that well.
What you trying to sell me, Reed?
Nothing. I'm merely trying to convince you.
One particular mission where we really get to see how cold Reed is, and all NUS agents for that matter, is when they intercept the twins and they knock them unconscious. Reed and Alex brutally murder them without hesitation. V is no saint, and neither am I for that matter. Sometimes I shoot first and I never really ask questions, but the way they did it was ruthless, and I wasn't so sure that they needed to be killed, but that shocked me and gave me an insight into Reed's mind. So no matter the mission that he has in front of him, he has to complete it, because nothing can come between him and how important his mission is. He's wired that way. I think Solomon Reed could have been an even better man had he been able to let go of the NUSA and their politics, but then he wouldn't be what he is today and the character that we got to meet. Maybe it's hard work and it's not for everybody, not for regular people. Because regular people can't stomach the things that he does. Maybe he feels he is part of the greater good, and I would think of Captain Price from Modern Warfare. He said, "We do bad things so the world can sleep at night." Maybe Reed felt similar in that regard. He thought he was doing what was necessary to avoid another war and prevent even more unnecessary lives from being taken. It's hard to know what really is right or wrong in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, but Solomon Reed does a damn good job of making you question your choices and the consequences that they have. In the end, Reed can become one of two things. Major spoilers here, by the way. Either he dies in a standoff in a way that he maybe deserves, in a way that his twisted view of the world expects him to die. He died believing in something. He died with honor at the hands of V, albeit failing his mission, but he did die with honor. Or he succeeds in his mission and moves to Langley to live out the rest of his life behind a desk, training new recruits and being cut off from any important dealings within the NUSA. That's a life, in my opinion, that Reed would never settle for. A sad life. A life that an agent of his qualities doesn't deserve. But that's the NUSA government for you. When you're damaged or of no use to them, they leave you to rot. At the end of the day, it's your choice what fate awaits Reed. Take his life and give him a good death, or let him live out the rest of his life in misery. And a quote from a movie instantly came to my head as I was finishing this up. It's from Shutter Island, and Leonardo DiCaprio says, "What would be worse, to live as a monster or die as a good man?" And I felt it kind of sort of applied, because maybe in his head, Reed was a good man, but doing what he needed to do would have turned him into a monster in the end. It's something that I really thought about, and I thought that it had bearing, or it could relate to Reed and his story in Phantom Liberty. This is the first official episode of this very small miniseries that we're going to be doing surrounding Phantom Liberty, and it's the OC. The next one will focus on his story, and then the third episode will focus on a particular topic that I don't want to tell you guys just yet, but expect those videos to come out within the next month. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please remember to like and subscribe, and leave some comments about your thoughts on Solomon Reed. I'll see you guys in the next Cyberpunk video.
Take damn good care of Song, Reed. You owe her that.
And you do well to forget her and all of this entirely.